Why do your relationships with your employees always feel strained? Why don't we feel like we're on a harmonious team just running towards the same vision? Well, I have 3 pitfalls today that business owners fall into that cause friction and tension on every team that I witness. So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Thomas Joyner with Business on Purpose here. Just grateful for you tuning in and listening for a few minutes today. So business owners and employees, right? It's a match made in heaven. Or is it a match made in hell? No, I'm kidding. But how can we help this obviously strained relationship? How can we have employees who feel respected and excited to come into work? Well, today I want to give you, the business owner, 3 things that you may do without even knowing it that probably contribute to friction and relational strain with your employees. Now, obviously, all of these are going to be somewhat on a spectrum, and I'm going to speak towards the worst case scenario and give you some examples of where I've seen it in my life, but take some time to look inwardly. Maybe see if some of this may be true for you, even if it's just a little piece. And at the end of the day, what do employees want? Well, they want a stable environment where their work is respected and they enjoy what they're doing. All right, let's dive on in. The first thing that business owners do that causes friction, they fail to actively listen. I was challenged on this just last week, me. Occasionally, we as a team will sit on each other's coaching calls, and just as a way to make sure we all have the same messaging and really just get some powerful feedback from our team on our effectiveness as coaches. I had another member of our team tell me, just slow down a bit. My client was speaking, and she said it felt like I was waiting for my turn to talk, to dive right in with the answer instead of validating the question and waiting until they're finished speaking. And I was unbelievably grateful for the critique because I didn't even know I was doing it. So if I'm doing it and I'm unaware that I'm doing it, I wonder if you are too. And so let me ask you a couple questions there. When you're sitting in a team meeting, are you just trying to get through it as quickly as possible so you can get the team back to making money? Are you listening to your employees as they bring up frustrations? Do you check your phone during your check-ins and onboarding times? Do you shoot down their dreams and squash their complaints? Do you do anything with the information given, or does it just sit in a file somewhere and the information shared just falls on deaf ears? Or do you give eye contact? Do you look them in the eye and repeat the problem? Do you take the time to work through it with them and follow up and help solve the problem? Do you lean in and maybe not get so worked up? You see, active listening takes time. It can't be rushed through because the receiving side always senses it. Your employees can tell when you're not with them and your mind's just elsewhere, thinking about other issues. No, resist the temptation to multitask in those situations. Actively listen. It will help your relationships with your employees. I guarantee it. All right, second way. I see business owners not communicating clearly. This is one I see all the time in businesses and honestly just in my life in general. Just this weekend, I saw this in my own home, and Rebecca and I, my wife, we laugh about it now, but it wasn't really funny at the time. So we were about to head to dinner with my in-laws on Friday night, and my wife was getting ready and asked me to go put some nicer and warmer clothes on our kids for the evening. Nice and specific, right? Nicer and warmer. Can't screw this one up. So I went upstairs, and you can see how this happens, right? I grabbed the first warm thing in the drawer for my son. I grabbed the second warm thing I saw for my daughter, and here's where I admit that I'm not really known for dressing my kids well, right? That's on me. I don't understand color schemes in toddler fashion. I heard warm and nice. As I get downstairs with the kids dressed, my son in gray sweatpants and a dark gray thermal shirt, and my daughter in black sweatpants and a white thermal shirt that barely covered her midriff, my wife gets frustrated with me and went up to change the kids again. I'd picked the wrong thermal shirt and did not realize the mishaps until it was too late. The lack of clarity on the front end caused the friction. Now, should I have known that gray on gray was probably not the best idea? Yes, I admit that. Should I have grabbed a shirt for my daughter that covered all of her torso? Yes, most definitely yes. But this highlights the need for clear communication on the front end, right? Your employees, they need a clearly communicated request. We hear all the time, well, they should know what I'm asking for. They should know how to do it. Why? They can't read your mind, and they probably don't care as much as you do. So set them up for success. Get specific and write that specifically into a clearly articulated process for them to follow. That way it doesn't have to be done twice, and that way you can celebrate a job well done instead of letting it lead to discontentment, resentment, and friction amongst the team. Hear me say this: it is your job as the leader to set the standard and communicate all the way, no assumptions. All right, third area where I see leaders cause friction with their teams is making no time for fun. I get it, right? There's a time for fun and a time to grind. And Scott, in his coaching time last week, talked about grinding, but grinding at the right time. There's a time to kind of put on the blinders and just get work done. But how are you capturing the heart of your team? We're coming up on a calendar year number 4 of this COVID pandemic. How are you helping be a pressure release valve as anxiety and stress for families are at an all-time high? I was so proud of one of my clients last week who really rose to the challenge and planned a team bowling afternoon with all their employees still on the clock. They literally paid their employees to go bowling for the afternoon and made it fun along the way. Guys, that's a team, that's a group of employees who will not just leave when things get hard. And it honestly makes the hard conversations more bearable and shows that you care about them as more than just some cog in the business wheel. You've got to make time for fun. Maybe it's something silly at your team meeting, right? Look up a minute to win it game and have everybody try it just to break up the monotony. Is it a movie night where they all bring their families in? But how are you infusing some fun along the way? Think about this. We spend a third of our lives at work. Isn't there some room for enjoyment and fun in the midst of it all? I guess when I'm honest, I think so. And I think that every time you do it, it releases some of that friction and makes you feel more like a team that they want to be a part of. So to recap, for you, the business owner, knowing that friction is intensified when you, 1, fail to actively listen, 2, fail to communicate clearly, and 3, make no time for fun along the way. I hope that makes sense. I'd love to help you think through this. Please reach on out. We would love to help you think through how to push past some of these 3 things so there's less and less friction along your team and that there's less and less times where people are just looking around for other jobs that may be a better fit. Thanks so much. Have a great day.